Good evening, everyone. How is everybody doing? I hope everybody is having a good week so far. I've had a decent week working this week so far. It's a little bit slow today, but hopefully I'll make up for it for the rest of the week. It's been hot here again as usual, but it's not. It hasn't got up into the 100 degrees yet and 100% humidity. Well, the humidity's been up, but the temperatures haven't been up, so I can't complain. I'll save my complaining for when we do get the 100-degree temperatures. But I'm glad to see some people in here already. I went through some of them during the intro. Mickey is here. Good to have Mickey here as always, my dear. Wonderful mod. Yep, definitely smash that like button, hit the bell for notifications, share, share, share. That's our motto around here is share, share, share. The important information tonight, we're going to be talking about some true crime in the news, but please check out my playlist, share, 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 my missing persons videos, cold case videos. Those are the most important things I do here on the channel. So all shares are greatly appreciated. If you're new here, please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Let's see who else is here. Get that down. Miss Marion is here. Hello, Miss Marion. Always good to have Miss Marion here. I saw Miss Marion, and I believe Miss Barbara's here too. I saw both of them, and I was watching Mr. Steve's live stream earlier. Please check out True Crime Web. Mr. Steve is getting ready to go out on the road again, work on some cold cases, and to start, excuse me, their eDNA experiments that they're going to be doing. So just everybody, please send out thoughts, prayers, and good vibes to Mr. Steve and the whole team that's going out there to do some good work, and wish them safe travels. I know I saw Miss Barbara. There she is. Hey, Miss Barb. Always good to see Miss Barb here. Much love, as always, to you and Miss Marion and to everybody. Miss Peggy is here. Also, think I saw Miss Peggy in Mr. Steve's live stream earlier, too. Always a pleasure to have Miss Peggy here. You're not late. We just got started. You're not late. Yeah, Miss Barb says she got to see Mr. Steve. Yep. Everybody's following each other. And thank you so much for everybody who was watching Mr. Steve's. I waited till he finished. That's why I scheduled mine live to start a little bit later, because I wanted to watch his, of course, and support him and listen to see what was in his suitcase that he was taking out with him. Lots of interesting stuff he's taken, and I didn't want to infringe on his live stream. I wanted to give everybody a chance to watch Mr. Steve. So, but I believe he got done before I started. I watched the last of his live stream when I was getting ready to do mine. Thank you, Miss Marion, so much. We appreciate the family members too, absolutely. The family members, the community, it takes all of us. As we always say, it takes a village. It does take a village. All of us working together. Absolutely. Get it show. Yes, Miss Barb said thank you because I love Mr. Steve. Oh, I do too. Mr. Steve, I'm partial to Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve. When I first started my channel, even before I started my channel, Mr. Steve is probably one of the first ones that I found and watched on a regular basis. I knew he was the real deal, doing it for the right reasons. He's former law enforcement, former CSI. And after I started my channel, Mr. Steve has just been so encouraging, so supportive of me. I was a guest on his show a few months back to discuss a case that's dear to my heart. So I owe a lot to Mr. Steve and Mrs. Steve um, for everything that they have done for me. And I try to give back, pay it forward by promoting or giving shout outs to other channels that are just and I'm still a small channel, but anything I can do to help other channels, small channels, or any channel that's doing it for the right reasons, I'm happy to do so. Absolutely. Miss Marion said, get good blessings, give good blessings. Yes, ma'am. And we love you too, Miss Barb. Absolutely. And yes, True Crime Web Foundation is amazing. They do amazing work. Just God bless the benefactor he's talking about that donated all that money for them to do this research, this eDNA research that they're going out to do, and then everybody who donates through the foundation to help fund equipment and stuff they need, and then everything that's donated through YouTube, as Mr. Steve says, keeps keeps the lights on and groceries on the table. Welcome, Doris Bove. I'm glad to have you here. It's a new name. Good to have you here. If you don't mind, you can tell us how you found us. It's always good to see new names and new faces. And if you've been here before and I forgot, I apologize. I've slept or not slept since then, since a lot of things. So I'm assuming Miss Marion by some of the comments. Absolutely, absolutely wonderful to have people, all you wonderful people here. Absolutely, justice for all. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. That is what purpose of my channel is to do just a little part of what we all can do, not just me. What we all can do to get these stories out there, get these faces out there, try to get some exposure for some of these cases and justice for Timmy Dees, justice for Durante Martin, and everybody else out there who needs justice. All right, Miss Doris says, I was recommended to you. I love true crime and I love beautiful. Oh, thank you. Love beautiful advocates like you for the missing people. Thank you, ma'am. That is so sweet. I appreciate that so much. Like I said, it's not just me. It's everybody. I try to do my little part. Do it to the best of my ability, and I hope I'm doing it. I hope I'm doing it justice. Absolutely, Miss. Well, where'd it go? Comments keep jumping. There it is. Miss Barbara said the True Crime Web Foundation is saving my life. Bittersweet. Yes, I heard. I know that Mr. Steve is going to be coming up to talk to you, and I know there are things. Thank God that are hopefully going to be moving forward in Timmy's case. So, as always, Miss Barbara and Miss Marion, thoughts, prayers, and good vibes concerning you guys and Timmy's case. We'll get there. We'll get there. With Mr. Steve on the case, you couldn't have in my opinion, you cannot have any better person than Mr. Steve on the case. Hello, hello, hello to you back to you, Mickey. Good to have you here. Oh, there's my Dandy. Dandy. Oh, Dandy says think tank raid incoming. Thank you so much. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll take everything I can get. It's good to see you, Dandy. I know I haven't. Last night I actually did manage to get on Discord for the first time in literally weeks. I finally got Discord. I don't know what was going on. I don't know if it was probably my connection. Um, but I finally got Discord to come up, and Chris Gideon was on, and Dandy was on, and we were having some discussions about we're going to talk about tonight some new developments in the Rex Heuermann case. Apparently, he's going to be indicted possibly for another victim. So we were discussing last night, me and Dandy and Chris. Excuse me, my supper's trying to back up on me. I'm so sorry. Me and Dandy and Chris were discussing uh, throwing out names of some of the victims of the Long Island victims, and who we think or hope that maybe this indictment is going to concern. But we have to wait till Thursday. But I'm going to try to do a. Sorry, my nose itches. My allergies are acting up today. I'm going to try to do a members only live stream. Maybe Thursday. Probably be the next chance I get to go live. And Thursday, if all goes as planned, I think that's when the indictment or whatever they're going to do with Heurmann is going to happen. I do have some stuff planned, some weird crimes, dumb criminals, weird crimes, but whatever comes down with Heurmann, we can also absolutely discuss that, because that is very important. Before I get too far behind in comments. Absolutely, justice for Timmy Dees. Oh, Danny, are you talking about Shauna Cawthron? I've been so worried about her. If you're talking about Shauna, because I know she lives up in northern Arkansas where the tornadoes went through, and I have been so worried about her. I haven't seen her. So if you're talking about the same Shauna, please let me know, or let us know how she's doing, if she's okay. I just saw that comment, but I've been so worried about her. I said on the last live stream I did, I know Arctic Fox True Crime is okay because he's in western Arkansas. They didn't got some storms, but no tornadoes. But I do know that Shauna Cawthron is up in northern Arkansas where all the bad tornadoes hit, and I've just been praying that she is okay. Absolutely. We are here for the families, Miss Barbara. Absolutely. Yes, Miss Barbara also says that Mr. C's been my miracle that I've been praying for his foundation. Absolutely. Mr. Steve is truly, he jokes about it, but Mr. Steve is truly a national treasure. National treasure. Oh, there's Miss Nan R. I also saw Miss Nan in Mr. Steve's live stream earlier. Good to have you here, Miss Nan. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Unfortunately, Miss Peggy says so much evil everywhere. We need to keep fighting for, I'm assuming, justice. And yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Thank you, Mickey. Says all members, please make sure to check out the members only section. Yes, I've tried to, and I'm going to try to, if I can get a video recorded. I actually, but I want Mr. Steve to see it too. But actually, last night when I was, I promise I'll quit babbling in a minute. We'll get into the news. But last night when I was looking for weird stories, weird crimes, dumb criminals to do for the members only live, if I get have time to do it, I came across an article, and I think it was like 15 weird and bizarre crimes that happened at Waffle House. And I thought about, of course, Mr. Steve. And then my second thought was, well, Mr. Steve's stories are probably a lot better than those. Um, so I don't know if I might include that tomorrow night. Not tomorrow night. In the members only video, but I do want Mr. Steve to see it at some time. I might have to email him the link to that article so he can at least read it. Every time I think of Waffle House, Oh goodness. Okay. Dandy says that Shauna, her health. Okay. Yes. We will definitely send Shauna thoughts, prayers, good vibes. And Dandy, if you want to, PM me on Discord, hopefully I'll be able to get it to come up and, kind of let me maybe fill me in on what's going on, if you don't mind. But yes, most definitely thoughts, prayers, and good vibes to Shauna. Yes, Miss Barb. Arctic is fine. Yeah, because he's. I know what part of Arkansas that Arctic is in, and they got, like I said, they got storms, but they didn't get any of the tornadoes. Thank goodness. And luckily, here in Central Arkansas, where I am, we had some tornado warnings around us, but thank goodness we didn't get any tornadoes. Yeah. Miss Barb said, "Yes, I want to see those videos from the Waffle House. That would be awesome." Yes. Yeah. We do members only. I may have to. Find some Waffle House videos. Welcome, Bobby. I'm gonna try to pronounce your last name right. Crean. Welcome, welcome. Another new name. Um, Kind of an update on Caleb Harris. I think a week or so ago, Chris from Mob Crew, some of the family members did an interview with Jennifer. I was Coffendaffer, and apparently the law enforcement has made a statement that his phone has they found a different place where his phone is pinged, and that law enforcement has made a statement that they are investigating a new lead or some kind of new lead, and if they get to the point where of investigation in this new lead where they hit a dead end, that they will release some information to the public. So I think the article that I'm going to read from maybe mentions that a little bit. So that's kind of the update on Caleb that we're going to talk about. Yes. And then says, I think on every stream of Steve's that Waffle House is mentioned and that I want a waffle. Yes. I don't necessarily want waffles, but I want some of them Waffle House hash browns. I love Waffle House hash browns. Actually, I love any kind of hash browns, but Waffle House has some really good hash browns. You are most welcome, Bobby. Welcome, welcome. Well, I can't get it to come up. There it is. You are most welcome. Welcome, welcome. We welcome. Sorry. Yeah. We welcome anybody and everybody. All that we ask is you respect the victims' families, and respect each other. We don't family bash or victim bash. Stick to the facts, and we don't have any problems. Luckily, I haven't had any problems. Miss Marion, says she's a tomato and potato girl. Oh, I am too. Um, I so want some fresh garden vegetables. Some fresh tomatoes out of the garden. I'm telling you, I know this sounds weird because every time I mention it, I promise I said I was going to quit babbling. We're going to get to the news. Um, Cheese and tomato sandwiches. Oh my goodness. Get you some bread, put some Miracle Whip or real mayonnaise, whatever you prefer. A couple of slices of cheese, a big old slice of fresh out of the garden chilled tomato, a little bit of salt. Good stuff. Good stuff. Miss Peggy agrees about the hash browns. See, I'm not the only one. Out of all the hundreds of times I've been to Waffle House, I can probably count on like one hand the actual times I've actually ate a waffle at Waffle House. Um, Always stick to the hash brown. I love their hash brown bowls. Their ham, egg, and cheese hash brown bowls are the bomb. They're so good. All right, I think I'm caught up, so I will quit. Oh, absolutely. Nan says yes, just tomato sandwich or just a tomato. Pick it out of the garden, chill it a little bit, slice it up, put a little bit of salt, and just eat the tomato. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All right, we will get into it, or I'll be here babbling all night. Yes, Dandy says, salty maters, best summertime food, and pickled cucumbers. Absolutely. Nan says she doesn't think she's been to a Waffle House. I think Waffle Houses are more in the South, and I'm beginning to think that Sonic. Anybody that's from the North or Midwest here, are there Sonics up north? Because I have family members, extended family members that live in Minnesota, and every time they come down to visit, they always want to go to Sonic because apparently there are no Sonics, at least in Minnesota. So, so apparently Sonic may be a more of a southern restaurant or fast food thing too. Thank you, Miss Marion, as always. Yep, liked and shared. Thank you so much. Barbara says there is a Sonic right down the street from her house, and you are in still in Missouri, right? Still in Missouri. Yep, Sonic's in Louisiana. Yep, still down south. So Nan says they have a Sonic's in New York. Okay. Well, apparently maybe it's just Minnesota. I don't know. But every time my nieces and nephews, from my middle brother's second marriage, they grew up in Minnesota, and every time they came down here when they were younger, they always wanted to go to Sonic because that's the only place apparently that they could find a Sonic. Dandy almost called you Dondy. Dandy says that uh, Sonic food is gross in her opinion. Drinks are okay. I love their Sonic drinks. As you can see, most of the time when I'm I don't know if you can see it, when I'm on here, I have a Sonic drink. Um, but I usually I hit happy hour so I can get a Route 44 for I think it's $1.85 now during happy hour. Yeah, Miss Marion says she lives in a small town and they have McDonald's and Hardee's. We have a McDonald's in the town over. We don't have a Hardee's around. I don't know where the nearest Hardee's is around here. Hey, Michigan Wifey, there's my OG. Says, hey y'all, I've been lurking while saving. Oh my goodness, saving a little squirrel from her cats. She says we have a Sonic here in Michigan. Uh, yeah, so now I don't understand why my nieces and nephews from up north was always excited about eating at Sonic. Maybe they just didn't have a Sonic close to the part of Minnesota that they lived in. Miss Bobby said yes, happy hour. Absolutely. Nan is eating a Subway sandwich for late dinner. I love Subway sandwiches. We actually have a Subway here in town, the town I live in one of the gas stations. Absolutely. All right. We could talk food all night. But we will get started. So first, just have a little article, and I'm gonna see if I can get the. I shouldn't say anything, but cross fingers. My StreamYard on my laptop is working right now, so I might be able to let me screen share the articles. But Chad Daybell, I know a lot of y'all, or maybe not. Some of y'all maybe, but a lot of people have been following the Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell case. That horrible situation. I know she was convicted. I can't remember what she was sentenced to, but apparently Chad Daybell, I think, has been sentenced to the DP. So I just had I think I have the article up. See if I can get it to screen share. Take that down. 1 minute. See if it's gonna come up. Oh, we're change. Everything's jumping around on me. Trying to change the layout, but oh, there it goes. Okay. All right. So this is from CNN, and it is from June the 3rd. And there's a picture of him. I mean, like saying his name. It says Chad Daybell was sentenced to the DP Saturday upon the recommendation of the jury that convicted him of first-degree homicide and conspiracy charges in the slayings of his first wife and 2 children of his second wife. Daybell was convicted Thursday of, sorry, there's a gnat, of first-degree homicide and conspiracy charges in the death of his first wife, Tammy Daybell, and 2 of his second wife's children, 16-year-old Tylee Ryan and a 7-year-old Joshua J.J. Vallow. In a case prosecutors claim was fueled by power, sex, money, and apocalyptic spiritual beliefs. Just going to interject a little bit of my opinion. In my opinion, those 2 were Looney Tunes. Anyway, Judge Stephen Boyce on Saturday formally imposed the DP after a jury in a lengthy verdict form read in court earlier said it found that penalty was appropriate under the law. The judge also imposed a 15-year prison sentence for insurance fraud charges. Daybell had a blank expression as Boyce sentenced him to the DP. The judge said jurors had, quote, found beyond a reasonable doubt that the aggravating circumstances, when weighed against the mitigating circumstances, do not make the imposition of the DP unjust. The sequestered jury began deliberating his fate Friday afternoon and mulled the case for 6 hours before ending for the night. Jurors continued deliberations Saturday about 8:30 a.m. Mountain Time, and at 10:45 a.m., the Ada County courts announced the verdict had been reached. Jurors heard contrasting portraits of the man from lawyers before beginning deliberations in a case that drew national attention, in part because of what prosecutors described as the couple's doomsday religious beliefs. The sensational triple homicide was featured in a Netflix true crime documentary in 2022. I haven't watched that. If anybody's watched it, let me know if it's worth watching. In his opening statement to the jury on Friday, prosecutor Rob Wood asked them to consider aggravating factors that would make Daybell eligible for the DP. First, the 3 homicides, he said, were committed for a remuneration. Daybell was also convicted, of insurance fraud stemming from life insurance policies that allegedly paid him money after his first wife's death. His second wife, as well as Daybell, also were convicted of grand theft because she continued to draw Social Security benefits for her children after their deaths. Additionally, Wood told the jury the homicides of the 3 victims were, quote, especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity. He went on to say this defendant exhibited utter disregard for human life. The defendant, by his conduct, whether such conduct was before, during, or after the commission of the crimes at hand, has exhibited a propensity to commit homicide, which will probably constitute a continuing threat to society. The prosecutor concluded, saying it is your decision whether one or more of these aggravators has been proven, and if it has been, you must decide if, under these circumstances, imposition of the DP would be just or unjust. The verdict came about a year after Daybell's second wife, Lori Vallow Daybell, was also convicted of the homicide of her children. She was sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. She was also convicted of conspiring to take the life of Tammy Daybell. Vallow Daybell has appealed her convictions to the state Supreme Court, with her legal team raising the issue of whether she was mentally competent to stand trial. Authorities have said they believe that Tylee and JJ's lives were taken in September of 2019, the month they were last reported to have been seen, and that Tammy Daybell was found deceased in her Idaho home on October 19th, 2019, just a few weeks before Chad Daybell married, what's her name? Valo Daybell. This case has been about speaking for and seeking justice for the lives of three wonderful humans whose lives were cut way too short by the selfish desires of the defendant and his co-defendant, Lori Vallow. Fremont County Prosecutor Lindsay Blake said in a release after the sentencing. Now, the case was challenging, Blake said, both because of the complexities of the investigation and because of her own experience as a new mother during the prosecution. She says, I can't begin to imagine the family's pain. Absolutely. Wood said in a release after the sentencing that, quote, while nothing can undo the immense harm caused, we have worked tirelessly to secure a measure of justice. Addressing the jury Friday, defense lawyer John Pryor portrayed Daybell as a once, quote, quiet, reserved, shy young man who grew up in Springville, Utah, a small, tight-knit, quote, town of faith. Daybell, his lawyer said, met his first wife, Tammy, and they were married for 29 years, raising five wonderful children, very, quote, very deep in their faith, very deep in their commitment to family. But Daybell's life changed in late 2018, Pryor said, when he met Lori Vallow, who had already been married multiple times. He told jurors, everything that glitters is not gold. Lori Vallow glittered. She was not gold. She was the trajectory that changed the plan. Chaos hits, and all of these things start cascading, and this thing becomes very complicated and difficult. Pryor said the new relationship with Vallow was like, quote, this bomb dropped on the life of the small town boy from Springville. We have to look back at that, he said. You have to examine what Chad Daybell's past was prior to the bomb being dropped. But he made choices. He made his own choices, in my opinion. The Lori Vallow bomb being dropped, if it wasn't for that trajectory coming in and changing the path, is this where we would be going? According to him, it's not where we would be going. And this is a picture, I'm assuming, of some of the family members. This is Larry Woodcock. Gets a hug after a verdict in the Chad Daybell trial. Jurors also heard from relatives of the victims on Friday. It makes me angry and it destroys me to know Tammy was treated how she was. Tammy Daybell's father, Ron Douglas, told jurors, I find it comforting to know that Tammy is resting peacefully in Utah, buried alone and near her beloved mother. Kay Woodcock spoke about her grandson, JJ, and her stepniece, Tylee. She said, I sit here today and try and explain the immense pain that me and everyone in my family continue to endure daily, but how do I do that? She goes on to say, I can tell you there have been too many situations in the past few years where we were slammed with the fact that JJ won't hit another milestone. The constant question remains, who would he have become? What kind of man would he have been? Woodcock remembered Tylee as the most precious, blonde-haired, blue-eyed little girl and an absolute mama's girl. Woodcock added, breaking into tears, there's a hole in my heart, in the hearts of every member of my family that can never be filled and will remain for the rest of my life. Tylee's aunt, Annie Cushing, remembered her walking around the house singing with the voice of an angel. Tylee had her whole life ahead of her. She had dignity, she had dreams, she had goals. This defendant stole all of that. I agree. Kelsey Douglas, Tammy's sister-in-law, told jurors that, excuse me, quote, pain, fractured relationships, and unhealed wounds are all part of the aftermath of the homicides. This is the legacy of anguish and sorrow that will haunt our family for generations. Tammy's brother, Michael Douglas, lamented that the nightmare fodder I have been provided will last me a lifetime. I can't imagine. Of course, Daybell declined to address the court after the victim impact statements. Law enforcement found the remains of Tylee and JJ on Chad Daybell's Fremont County property in June of 2020. It's a sad day. JJ would have been 12 years old. JJ's grandfather, Larry Woodcock, said after the verdict Thursday. Woodcock remembered the victims and asked the same question over and over. What did they accomplish? Nothing. What did they do? They destroyed families, Woodcock said of Daybell and Lori Vallow. But the defendants, Larry Woodcock said, could not destroy the memories relatives have of the victims. They can't take that, he added, growing emotional at one point. When he heard the jury verdict in court, he said he felt like he couldn't breathe. We'll pass over her. During opening statements, the prosecutor, I think this just goes into the history that we all know. Says we are filled with unfathomable sadness that these two bright stars were stolen from us, and I only hope that they passed without pain or suffering. The families of the children said in a statement after the remains were found. So that is the latest on the Vallow Daybell trial or verdict. And like I said, hopefully both, in my opinion, hopefully both of them will be spending, apparently Lori will be spending the rest of her life in prison, no chance for parole, and Chad got the DP, but we all know how that usually works. Appeal after appeal, years and years and years of sitting on death row, but at least he's not, at least he's locked away. So there's that. All right, let me get caught up in your comments. Miss Peggy says she's eating a veggie stew kind of dinner. That sounds good. Yeah, absolutely. Dandy says a food talk can be a member's live. Maybe, yeah, we can talk about dumb criminals and food. How's that? Absolutely. Bobby says, bad thing about Chad Daybell. Horrible. Yes, absolutely. Yes, thank you, Dandy. Peggy said her first real job was at a Hardee's. My first real job, well, my junior and senior year in high school, I worked at a daycare, and then the summer after I graduated, I started working at the local Pizza Hut. I worked there for 10 years. Started as a cook, ended up assistant manager, got tired of that. So I quit that and then went into retail, working at Wally World. And I did that for 15 years. And I went into home health caregiving for 10 years. And now I'm door dashing and spark driving. So I'm kind of back at Walmart, but just as a, what they call it, independent contractor. I just go in and either pick up curbside or shop and deliver groceries. So I like it. I like it. I can make my own hours. Thank you so much, Miss Marion. That's very sweet. Absolutely. Miss Barb says, I have a hard time just hearing this guy's voice or look at his face. It makes me angry. Yeah, I, of course, knew about this case, but I didn't watch any of the trial. I don't have time to sit. I know a lot of creators. I know Miss Frankie at the think tank. live streams a lot of trials, but with work, I don't have time to sit and watch a lot of trials. But yeah, I've kept up with the kind of kept up with this case, and I knew that she had been convicted, but I couldn't remember what sentence she got. And then uh, when I was looking for news for tonight's live, I saw that he had been convicted and given the DP. So, yep, he is definitely horrible, most definitely. Absolutely, Miss Dandy says justice for the victims of Lori and Chad. Absolutely, for the kids, for Tylee and JJ, for uh, was it Tammy, his first wife, and all their families. Absolutely, most definitely. I agree. Miss Marion says, my opinion, they were both involved. They should have got the same amount of time. Yep, I agree. Nana says he's just evil, but I still don't believe in the DP. That's where everybody's opinions and beliefs are welcome, most definitely. Says his kids were only a short time dark and recovered quickly. Thank God yeah. He got rid of any obstacle to those close to Lori. Yes. Like I said, I hate to sound crass, but when I was reading the article, I know I stopped at one point and said that, in my opinion, both Lori and he are Looney Tunes, or and just plain evil, just plain evil. So Miss Peggy said that Lori got off the DP because of technical issues. So because of a technicality. Oh, there's technicalities, loopholes, loopholes. Absolutely. Miss Marion says, my opinion, I don't believe in the death penalty either, unless it's against a child. But we have to start doing something. Going to jail is not punishing them, in my opinion. Yeah. And sometimes I have literally seen people who have just been convicted. I say just been, been convicted of illegal substances, street substances, which are bad, get more time than people who are convicted of homicide. It just blows my mind how that works. I don't understand at all. Absolutely. Dandy says, we love to meet new people here. Absolutely. Absolutely. Miss Marion says, my opinion, God does not want anybody to kill anybody. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Marion. Absolutely. I'm sorry to hear that, Dandy. Dandy says that she's been in some really bad relationships and situations. She's never considered unaliving someone. To do that to children is another level. Absolutely, yep. Because people don't realize, or maybe they realize and they don't care that when you unalive somebody, especially if it's a partner, spouse, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife, and they have children and family, just family members in general, they don't. Like I said, in my opinion, they don't care. They don't care. They don't stop to think about what they're doing to, especially the children. Um, it's just unreal. Nan says, I think the older a person gets, the more they have contributed to the world. So they should be valued more, but little kids shouldn't be victims like they are. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, yes, Miss Barbara, I agree with that 100%. Miss Barbara says, "I'm so tired of people using religion to unalive people." Yes, yes, and what they call religion is not, because I'm a person of faith, is not true religion. It's just an excuse. It's an excuse. They may think it's a religion, but it's not, in my opinion. As Peggy said, all the victim statements were so heart wrenching. I can imagine. I can imagine. I'd be crying. I'd have my Kleenex box over here out. Yep. Dandy says a box of tissues runs out quick with the victim's impact statements. Yeah, Nan says, I don't think Chad believed in any of his religion. I think it's a con. Yes, I agree with you there. Absolutely. Most definitely prayers for the family. Yep. Dandy says she thinks the same. She doesn't believe in religion, teach their own, though. Absolutely. Absolutely. Everybody's opinions and beliefs are welcome. Yes, Miss Barbara makes a good point. She says she believes in a relationship with her Lord and Savior. It's not a religion. I agree, because sometimes I have problems with organized religion. Um, I can pray and worship and talk to my higher power anywhere. It doesn't have to be in a church. So I see most definitely. I know where you're coming from, Miss Barbara. Miss Peggy says that she thinks Lori could still get the DP in Arizona. Absolutely, Dandy. Dandy says I have faith and believe in a higher being, but it has no name or religion. I understand. I understand where you're coming from too, Dandy. Absolutely. Yes. Yep. I understood what you were saying, Nan. It says I just meant that I believe that she believes that Chad didn't believe in what he was professing. He wanted to get what he wanted. Absolutely. Con man, in my opinion. Absolutely, Dandy. I agree. But you're putting all your eggs in one basket, and yeah, the same principle. Absolutely. Oh, so Lori is on trial again for so she got life for the JJ and Natalie. Now she's in Arizona for the trial. Oh, was Charles her was it her brother or one of her family members that mysteriously got shot or whatever happened to him? I remember that now that you mentioned that. Please let me know if I'm wrong. Gonna get caught up in comments and we'll move on to the next. Yep. Absolutely. Miss Marion says, my opinion, as long as we all pray because this world needs it. Yes, this world needs a lot. Miss Peggy says it was creepy to watch him, no reaction to anything. He tried to fake cry once, hearing him fake crying on 911 call. Was he as bad at fake crying as old Murdoch Alec Murdoch was still is? Mm. And Andy says that Alex Cox unalived Charles. Okay, Charles and Miss Peggy said Thank you for keeping me straight. And Charles was one of Lori's husbands. Gotcha. Gotcha. Oh, wait. And then Dandy said Lori's brother, he's since passed of a heart attack. So is Charles the brother or the husband? So Peggy said Charles was one of her husbands. Y'all got to keep me straight. Like I said, I don't know the ins and outs of this. I just know the basics of what happened. All right, let's see what we have next. All right, Caleb Harris. Let me get. I should have already done this. Oh, and supposedly there's a new witness that might have seen Caleb Harris on the night that he disappeared. According to this article. All right, let me see if it'll screen share. I apologize for my hair. I had enough time when I got home from work to jump in the shower, get my supper eaten, watch Mr. C's live stream, and then get ready for mine. So my hair was still wet, so I just picked it up. All right. So let me get all the ads out of the way. Concerning Caleb Harris, this is from mysanantonio.com. It is from May 2nd. And it says new eyewitness information in Caleb Harris disappearance, according to the family. So we all know that he went missing in Corpus Christi, Texas in March. And there's a picture of him. It says it has been nearly 2 months since college student Caleb Harris vanished from Corpus Christi, Texas. A new development in the case places a newly found eyewitness near his last known spotting. The 21-year-old SWAT ads. The 21-year-old Texas A&M Corpus Christi student was last seen in the early morning hours of March 4th at his apartment in the 1900 block of Ennis Jocelyn Road. His family reported him missing when they noticed his Uber Eats order still sitting outside the next day, and they were unable to locate him. Police established a timeline of the hours and days before he vanished. The last time a cell tower made contact with Caleb's phone and received local information was at 3:12 a.m. on the morning of his disappearance. Around that time, Caleb sent the Snapchat videos, I think to his sister, that showed him walking the dog. And then we have that last creepy Snapchat that he sent of the bridge, by the bridge. Caleb's father, Randy Harris, joined former FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer for an interview to discuss his son's case. In the video, Harris says a witness spotted a man who looked like Caleb around 3:35 a.m. to 3:40 a.m. walking under a bridge near the apartment. So I don't know. I'm wondering if that's because I know that bridge wasn't very big, but I don't know if it's that bridge or maybe he was walking down the road and maybe what we call an overpass bridge. This gentleman follows the same route every day. He's been doing that for 10 years, and of course, it was foggy and hard to see, but he was able to explain in pretty good detail with the little white dog. So there is definitely a possible eyewitness, Harris said in an interview. Family friend Tony Mathis added, "This guy was very vivid with what he saw. We can definitely say that we believe this witness to be credible." The sighting was in a location different from where Caleb's phone last pinged. However, Mathis says law enforcement has called the last ping an anomaly. The U.S. Secret Service has since joined the investigation to assist with cell phone analysis for any additional clues. The Secret Service is analyzing Caleb's electronic devices, including his laptop, iPad, smartwatch, Xbox, and internet router. No foul play has been found in this investigation so far. Police have also ruled out family, friends, and the Uber Eats driver as suspects. In the interview, Randy Harris says searchers are now looking into homeless communities around Corpus Christi for new information. Caleb is a white male, brown hair, brown eyes, 5 foot 11 inches tall, and weighs 180 pounds. Anyone with information is asked to call the Corpus Christi Police Department at 361-886-2840, or you can submit an anonymous tip at 888 tips. And the Harris family has also set up a tip line at 361-826-2950. So that is the latest with Caleb Harris. But I know when get back over to the right screen here. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? There I am. Okay. I know when Chris from the Mob Crew here a couple weeks ago, when this interview with the family did with Jennifer Kopendeffer came out, that in the interview, either I don't know if it was the family or she said that law enforcement has said that they're following a lead. They're going to follow it as far as they can. If they hit a brick wall, they're going to release some kind of information to the public. And when Chris was doing his live, he was just kind of theorizing or speculating, possibly could be maybe some surveillance footage, or maybe a still photo from surveillance footage, possibly. Now, I don't know, but we'll just have to wait and see what is going on. Get back down in the comments. Miss Peggy said that Daybell's fake crying rates up there with Murdoch's. It's got to be. It has to be bad then. Okay, thank you, Dandy. Dandy says Charles was the husband, Alex was the brother. Thank you. Thank you, Dandy. Thank you. Yeah, Miss Barb said it's all crazy. It's hard to keep straight. Yes, absolutely. Oh, Miss Nan is a retired RN. Bless your heart, ma'am. Bless your heart. Much love and respect to all our doctors, nurses. I know doctors always get all the glory, but I know have known and know a lot of nurses, and nurses are, in my opinion, don't get enough credit. Our first responders, EMS, fire, law enforcement, military, absolutely, all the respect in the world. Oh goodness, I can't even keep up with the Karen Reed case. That apparently is a clown show or something. I don't even know. That's kind of too why I've stayed away from that one too, is because there's apparently two sides. One thinks she's being or says that she's being a frame set up, and then there's the other camp. I don't know. I can't give an opinion. I haven't. I know the basics of what happened in that case, but I haven't watched any of the trial, or I've just seen here and there things that people have said about what they think is going on. Oh, Miss Marion's got a red flag up, as always. Absolutely. I'm glad Miss Peggy says she's confused too on the Karen Reed case. I'm glad I'm not the only one that is confused. That's an excellent point. Danny says helpers know helpers, and criminals spot other criminals. It's like as like. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, Miss Peggy says that Caleb's story is creepy, kind of like Aiden Clune. Just seems like they both just disappeared. Absolutely. Yeah, and speaking of Chris and the Mob Crew, I think he was out. I don't know if it's this weekend or maybe Thursday or Friday. He was out helping search again for, I believe it was Aiden. Um, out with his drone, and then I think he said he got a new program or something to help him analyze the drone footage. And I think he did members only, and then a regular live. I'm gonna have to watch that with some of the video footage that he put through that program. And so I'm gonna have to get over there and be on replay crew for that and get caught up with all that. Yep, I absolutely agree. Miss Barb says this whole thing with Caleb doesn't make any sense. I know it's just like we always say, they vanish into thin air, but we all know people don't just vanish into thin air unless the aliens, aliens or Bigfoot. Yeah, in my opinion, something had to have, because they've been narrowing down the timeline. Something, whatever happened to him, in my opinion, and other people's creators and the professionals, something had to happen in their opinion, shortly after that last Snapchat picture of the bridge was taken. Um, so I don't know if he voluntarily got into a vehicle with somebody, or if he was maybe just walking, kind of pacing up and down, maybe waiting for the Uber Eats, and somebody came and snatched him, or I don't know. It's just bizarre. Reminds me of that old 80s or 90s song, How Bizarre. How bizarre, how bizarre. It is, truly. Yep, that's absolutely true. People don't just vanish for no reason. And Amy is Aiden's mom, right? Miss Peggy said Amy is still going out to search for Aiden. He's been gone for a year. Yes, ma'am. Yep. Dandy says, excuse me, I'm so sorry. That I'm assuming you're referring to Caleb. Says he had to go somewhere against his will or accidentally. I agree. I tend to think it's against his will. I mean, because is it, to me, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, you guys know I'm not a professional in anything. I just try to use my critical thinking, logical skills. Because people have speculated, well, maybe somebody hit him accidentally and put his body in the car and took him and dumped him somewhere. Well, that to me, that doesn't make any sense. That's too much work. Because 99% of the time, if there's a hit and run accident, they just hit the person and they just leave them laying there and they take off. And according to what I've read and heard, that water in that little drainage ditch was, even if there might not have even been any water in it when it happened, but if he would have, even if there was water and there was enough for him to fall in and drown, they would have found him. They've searched, from what I understand, all that whole area extensively. Um, So yeah, yeah, I agree. It's either against his will or accident, but I'm just from things, just from the little we know from the news and the creators. I'm thinking something is afoot at the Circle K, as Bill and Ted would say. Oh, my comments just jumped. I saw a comment. I was yes, absolutely. Danny says he could have gone willingly, but he sufficed willfully, at least to his family, in my opinion. Yeah, and that might be the case. He may have willingly gone with somebody, and then after that, something happened and it went sideways and something bad happened. Sorry, I don't know if you heard that. My stomach is gurgling. Yeah, Dandy says Aiden is another mystery. I'm really sick of people just vanishing, especially since we're so monitored. Absolutely, because they had to have in Caleb's case, just from the like Google Earth images I've seen. There are intersections, and at every intersection they have cameras. The only thing I can think of is it was very foggy that night, and it might have been hard to pick anything up. Yeah, but yeah, it is astounding how easily people vanish out in public with so many cameras everywhere. It's just dumbfounding. Yeah, absolutely. Chris was out with his new drone looking for Aiden. Yep. Yeah, and Chris has gone out many, many times to search for Aiden. And I think he also went out before they did. He searched for Dylan Rounds too. Thankfully, they did. They have found Dylan. I believe they did find not too long ago. They did find Dylan Rounds' remains, if I'm not mistaken. I have so many cases in my head, you guys. You know I get confused. Hey, Chris, welcome, welcome. Good to have you here, my friend. How long have we been going? Oh, I've just been going just over an hour. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you. Yes, Amy is Aiden's mother. Thank you, Miss Peggy. Hello, Black Knight 007. Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Another one of my wonderful members. So, what do you guys think while I'm reading through comments and get ready to go to the next whatever story I have lined up next? About with Thursday night around 8ish Central Time be a decent time for a members only live. It's Thursday because Thursday night, either tomorrow night or Thursday night. Probably the only time I'll have to do it. Friday, probably not. So just any members that are here or watching replay, let me know. A lot of big comments. Sorry, I'm moving around a lot. My back is hurting. Absolutely. Dandy says, in her neighborhood, there's no less than 20 cameras in her neighborhood in a 16th of a mile. Yes, they're everywhere. Everywhere. Just, like I said, it just amazes me with all these cameras and people just vanish. Yes, thank you, Miss Peggy. I was thinking that it was Dylan that they did find. Sorry, I forgot your nose between the cat hair. We got a new. I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures I posted of a little biscuit or a little kitty. Between the cat hair and the allergies. Sorry, my comments just jumped again. A new batch came up. You're very welcome, Black Knight. Welcome, welcome. Miss Barbara says she can make herself available. Miss Peggy says the later time, 8 p.m. Yeah. Yeah, probably around 8 p.m. because that's around the time my mom goes to bed. Because she works the early shift at the nursing home part time. So probably Thursday night I'll try to do the members only live. Give you all a break since I'm doing one tonight, and then I'll have a video I'm going to upload for tomorrow. I can't remember what it's about now. I'll have a video uploaded at some point tomorrow. I may do it as a premiere. I don't know. I do have it recorded. I just got to get it uploaded. Absolutely. Danny says that she's glad they found Dylan. I prayed for his mama every day until he was found. Absolutely. Yeah, but I would not have known about the Dylan Rounds case or Aiden's case, except for watching Chris Mob Crew, his coverage of it, of both of them. All right, I think I'm caught up in comments. Let's see what we got next. Oh, we got good old Rexy next. All right, so the first information or new information that came out regarding Heuermann was that they were had searched the house again, and evidently the ME showed up, which is very unusual, according to what I've read, and also according to Mr. Steve, because when I did my last live stream, I think this information just came, or we were talking about them searching the house and the ME being there, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I'm pretty sure Mr. Steve said that if an ME was there, an ME has to be there to remove before any human remains or body is found or is removed. So fingers crossed that they have found something. But I have a short video clip to play just about them searching the house, and then I have an article about the upcoming indictment. So I will mute my cam for a minute. I think this video clip is maybe 2.5, 3 minutes long.
In Gilgo Beach murder suspect Rex Heuermann and investigative reporter Rachel Young-Kunis joins us live with more on the evidence they could be looking for. And Rachel, what would have triggered this new search warrant?
Well, given the scope of this investigation, Antoinette, there could be a lot of different possibilities. They could have new information related to the Gilgo 4 or other Gilgo Beach murders that Heuermann has not been charged with. Law enforcement experts say police are likely going to treat this search of the home like they've never been there before. Investigators are back at the home of suspect Rex Heuermann, a sign they're searching for new evidence in their ongoing investigation of the Gilgo Beach murders.
If something comes up in the investigation that said, hey, we didn't have it on the first search warrant, we have to include it on a new search warrant. So it was probably new information, new leads, something else that was unforeseen in the first one.
Their previous search warrants were so extensive, it's hard to imagine anything was left out. Team 12 Investigates obtained a 2023 search warrant for Heuermann's car. Police were looking for items such as journals, electronics, documents containing passwords, and dozens of other items. On Monday, Suffolk County's medical examiner also arrived on scene, which law enforcement experts say is telling. Is that unusual for the medical examiner to be on site for a search warrant like this?
Yeah, that means they found something. To me, if the ME's there, they found something already. Medical examiners are typically very busy, and for them to be on site, there's something very revealing, something very important to the case that they recovered.
Now, it's been almost a year since police first searched the home, and it's possible the evidence they are looking for is either gone or lost, but they still have probable cause to believe they will find it, Antoinette.
All right, let's hope they do find something. All right, thank you, Rachel, for that report.
All right, that was get the right layout. There we go. Regarding the search, so what do you guys think that they found, possibly? I'd like to hear your input before we go into the other article. Daddy says that she loves the premiere so we can chat live and give input and knowledge. Absolutely. Yeah, so actually I think the video I was going to upload tomorrow is some missing homicide, what I call missing homicide files. So I will get it uploaded tonight and I will do it as a premiere. Because I like the premieres too, because that way I can be in chat with y'all and not having to worry about trying to give the information and chat. And so I'll do a premiere. Oh, be careful, Miss Peggy. Miss Peggy says that she does says if she goes for a walk, she does go off camera. Be careful. Careful, careful. I know either Miss Marion or Miss Barbara or maybe both of them, when I was talking about doing my DoorDash and grocery deliveries, told me to be careful, and I absolutely do. Very aware of my surroundings. Always keep my car doors locked when I'm sitting in whatever parking lot I'm sitting in, waiting to get an order in to pick up or to shop. And luckily, the town that I work out of, which is the next town over, very small town. I know it very well. I know the bad parts of the town, which there's maybe only one bad part of town, and so far I've not gotten any deliveries in that part of town. But yes, absolutely do be very careful if you're walking. All you guys know, we have all these cases of walkers, joggers that have come up missing and unalived, and it's just horrible. You got to be careful. Oh my goodness, Dandy says she guessed a part. I'm missing something. Somebody's talking about, y'all been talking about massage tables and seeing massage tables, and now Dandy said that she guessed a person's name after speaking with them a few times. Actually, a little off topic just for a minute, and then we'll get back to Rex. One day this week, I was going in to do a shop and deliver at a Wally World, and this older gentleman was coming to his car, and he'd loaded up his groceries, and he had a cane, and he left it in the basket, so I got it and gave it to him so he wouldn't lose it. And he looked at me and asked, I'm not going to say my last name, but he said, "Are you a," and he said a last name, which happens to be my last name. I've never seen this man in my life. And I said, "Actually, yes, I am." And then he asked me if I was kin to so-and-so. I said, "No, it's a different set of last name." It's just so bizarre that he just looked at me and said, "Are you a," and said my last name. It just took me off guard. Yeah, just weird things like that happen. Still talking about massages and massage tables. Thank you, Miss Barbara. That's very sweet. I do the best I can. I do the best I can. Also, Dandy says that Miss Peggy lives away from civilization, in nature. I live in nature too, out on the farm. I love it. Yeah, Miss Barbara told Miss Peggy, "I hope you at least have pepper spray." Miss Peggy says most places she walks, she can avoid people. All right, so now we will get to let me get the article loading about this upcoming on the right article, upcoming, hopefully, in new indictment of Rex Heuermann. And any guesses also, or any theories on who it might be, possibly that they might have found, or maybe DNA or found remains of? Because I know who me and Dandy and Chris were talking about in Discord last night. We had some guesses. All right, let me share my screen. Change my layout. If my screen is sharing, there it is. Everything's working so slow. Oh, there it goes. Okay. All right. And this is from ABC7NewYork.com from June the 3rd. Rex Heuermann expected to be charged with an additional homicide, reports say. We can only hope. All right. Suspected Gilgo Beach serial offender Rex Heuermann is expected to be charged this week, Thursday, I believe, with an additional homicide, according to Newsday. Heuermann, 60, has pleaded not guilty to taking the lives of 4 women: Megan Waterman, Melissa Bartholomew, Amber Costello, and Maureen Brainerd Barnes, whose remains were found near Gilgo Beach along Ocean Parkway. swatting more ads. A word of the new indictment follows searches by the Gilgo Beach Task Force at Heuermann's Massapequa Park home and a wooded area of Manorville, where remains of 2 women were previously found. The second search of the Heuermann home focused on the basement. ABC News contributor Robert Boyce said they do a 9-day search and then they go back to his house the last week of May and they do a 6-day search at the Massapequa Park house. So now 10 days later, we have an indictment, a sealed indictment to hopefully be opened Thursday. And the dismembered remains of Valerie Mack were located in Manorville in November 2000. In July of 2003, the remains of Jessica Taylor were located in the same wooded area. The primary focus, again, in that basement, in that vault where the firearms were kept, and also that little room. Apparently, there was some kind of little room down there. Said Attorney Bob Macedonia, Heuermann's ex-wife, Asa Ellerup's lawyer. I think this time they went back in more with a forensic approach to see if they could obtain any kind of DNA or any kind of forensic evidence linking directly to any of the bodies that had been reported in media as missing over the last 10 to 15 years. In March of 2011, more of Taylor's remains were found on Gilgo Beach. And in April 2011, more of Valerie Mack's remains were discovered, but she wouldn't be identified until May of 2020. Looking at these cases, and I'm looking at these 2 ladies now, is this part of that? It seems to be, Boyce said. Heurmann had been scheduled to appear in court June 18th, but is now expected to be arraigned on the new charge Thursday. There were a number of investigative steps that were taken. Thursday, you will see the fruits of that investigation, Suffolk County District Attorney Ray Tierney said. So, very, very exciting news. Can't wait till Thursday to see what they have. And like I said, be very interested to hear your guys' thoughts on what they could have found. Possible victims. I think Dandy said she was hoping it was maybe Peaches and the baby, Peaches' baby. She mentioned. I forgot the other ones we were mentioning on Discord. Oh goodness. Oh yeah, you're in New York, right? And Nan says that she doesn't live far from the Long Island serial offender. Gives me the chills. Absolutely, I would. Yes, I would be. Most definitely. They're talking about a pepper spray and bear spray, a whistle or a horn. That's a good. Yes, anything to get attention. And I've always heard too that if, say, you're in a parking lot by your car or somewhere in a public place, instead of yelling, if something happens, instead of yelling, help me, yell something like fire or something like that. And for some reason, yelling fire or something like that, unfortunately, I guess gets people's attention more than somebody screaming, help me. I don't understand that, but I mean, if it's me, if I hear somebody saying help me, I'm going to, I might not be able to do anything. But I always have my phone with me. I'll be calling 911 while I'm running and trying to see what I can do. All right. Daddy says she would never willingly. I don't know where that came from. Never willingly talk about a poop shoot. It could be. It could be. Chris says it could be the Asian man who's never been identified. Possibly. There are so many bodies out there that, because like you said, the Asian man has not been identified. Peaches and her baby have not been identified. Possibility, most definitely. Yes. Miss Peggy says, my thoughts about Rex. They think he may be unalive someone in his house. Yes. I think they, even months ago, or right after he was arrested, they were saying they think that he may have unalived at least one person. Now it could turn out it's more. It's more. Oh, I wasn't supposed to read something out loud. I don't know if it's the. I got to adjust my computer screen. I couldn't. The odd angle. Yes, that's also what Nan says, they say if you yell something about SA type of attack, people are afraid to help, but folks come if you yell fire. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yep. For some reason, if you, I've heard if you yell fire, fire, people will come. But if you say, help me, I'm being attacked or something of that nature, like you said, people are, unfortunately, rightly so, people don't have an obligation necessarily to come help somebody in distress, being attacked. And I can understand because, you wouldn't want somebody else. If I was getting attacked, I would not want somebody else to get hurt trying to help me. But there are people who will absolutely come and help, But I can understand, I can see both sides of the coin. I can understand people not wanting to. But I mean, at least pick up a phone and call 911. Oh, goodness. I hope I can put this out loud. Danny says that she called a non-emergency number today for a Discord friend that's ill, and no one could locate her. We came together and found her in less than 8 hours. Wonderful. Wonderful. You're not talking about Shauna again, are you? Yeah, like I said, Dandy, please, and you may have already done it. PM me on Discord and let me know what's going on with Shauna. Because, like I said, I was worried about her with the tornadoes, but I didn't know about her health problems. All right, let's see what we got next. I'm caught up in comments. All right, skip one. No. All right, next we just have a little bit about Raleigh strain. There hasn't been a whole lot. Hey, Miranda Lee, good to have you here, as always. You sent me a DM on Discord. Awesome. I will check it when I get done here, if I can get Discord to come up. I got it to come up last night for the first time in weeks, so I will definitely check it. So thank you, ma'am. All right, so let me find the article on Raleigh and Raleigh's Act to see what you guys think about you guys' opinion on this, what Raleigh's Act is all about trying to do. I think it's a good idea. Personally, that's just my personal opinion. Let me see if it'll share. Yeah. Layouts going here. Get everything sharing. All right. So this is from News Nation, and it is from, I don't know what it's from. It'll tell. So Raleigh strains passing. Raleigh's Act calls out Nashville bars. So we know that Raleigh Strain, he was 22, went missing. He was escorted out of. Go away! I don't want the. Oh no! Oh, go away! There we go. I thought it was gonna make me. Thought he hit a paywall. Okay, so he was at. We know he was escorted out of Luke's 32 bar for being overserved, and then unfortunately his body was found in the river. So ads are killing me. This is from April 30th. It says nearly 31,000 people have signed a petition that would require downtown Nashville bars to call cabs so that I can't talk tonight. Intoxicated people can get home safely. The petition is in honor of University of Missouri student Raleigh Strain, who was asked to leave Luke's 32 Bridge, a bar on Broadway in Nashville, Tennessee. This law would make bars and staff mandatory to call cabs and Ubers for intoxicated and disoriented individuals. Let's not let Raleigh's tragedy end in vain. Please keep his family in your prayers and help keep our kids safe, the petition reads. So it just goes into what happened to him. Let's see if there's any other. So basically, that was the article. In my opinion, this is a good idea. To me, it would just cut down, in my opinion, just cut down on tragedies like Riley's. But I would obviously most definitely want to know what you guys think. And there's a lot of people who and I don't know if there is already a law if bars are held accountable for over serving, and then something happens to somebody, something bad happens to somebody. Oh goodness, Miranda, I hate to hear that. Thoughts, prayers, and good vibes coming your way, Miranda. So sorry to hear about your dad. Absolutely. Dandy says, and was it just her collaboration of friends? We love our people. Absolutely. Yep. Miss Barbara says that is a great idea. Absolutely. And I don't know if they do it everywhere, but I know around where I live in Arkansas, on a lot of the holidays, mostly on New Year's Eve, almost all the taxi services offer free rides home for people who need a ride, who have been drinking and need a ride home. And there are also at least one, which I think is so neat, one of the tow truck services that if the person needs to ride home, but they wouldn't have a way to come back and get their vehicle, the tow truck company will tow their vehicle along. They'll put the tow the vehicle, put the person in the tow truck, and drive them home and drop their car too. And I can't for the life of me think of the name of the tow company, but I know they show it on the news every year around New Year's Eve, Christmas time, whenever people are having parties. But yeah, I just think that's an awesome deal too. And they do it free of charge, obviously. Miss Barb may have already answered, but Miranda asked if Steve, Miranda had asked Steve earlier in his live stream if they could give an update on Timmy's case. I think he said not right at this minute. They're still working some stuff out, but hopefully sometime in the future, maybe we can get a little bit of information. But definitely do not want to do anything to jeopardize whatever's going on. I know he did say that they're trying to get some get information to certain people to try to move things forward. If I understand correctly, of course, absolutely, Miss Barbara can correct me if I'm wrong. Nan said that's pretty cool. I don't know what you're talking about. If what you're talking about, if you're about the ride services or the tow truck thing or whatever. Yeah, I think you're right, Miss Peggy, about the bars can be fined, get in trouble for serving people, over serving people that are intoxicated, serving people that are intoxicated or over serving. Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah, Miss Barbara answered. Yeah. See, I don't know. Miranda asked, has Raleigh's talk screen come back yet? I know his family did a private autopsy as well. But once again, I've been so busy working, I haven't had time to look up any latest information. So I don't know. The last I've heard from maybe Chris or one of the other creators, I don't think the talk screen has come back yet. Or maybe it has come back and they haven't uh, released it publicly, but I could be mistaken. Like I said, I'm so behind. Oop. Dandy says they have that there, but it ain't free. Are you talking about the cab rides or rides? Yeah, like I said, I know it just I can only speak for here part of Arkansas that I live in that any holidays where people do a lot of drinking, St. Patrick's Day, New Year's Eve, most of the cab services do free ride homes, and then that one tow truck service will also do the towing the vehicle and taking the person home, getting both the vehicle and the person home. All these, all of a sudden, a whole batch of comments will pop up, and I'll lose my place. Oh, for the tow truck, yes, yeah, that is absolutely very awesome about the tow truck company. And I wish I could think of their name, and I would give them a shout out, but uh, like I said, every year on St. Patrick's Day and New Year's Eve, they always have a story about it on the local news and interview the owner of the company. And I can't think of the name of the company. Excellent. Dandy says Uber is free once or twice a year for the drunkest holidays. Yeah. Miranda says that she doesn't think foul play was involved in Raleigh's case. I think he was intoxicated and maybe stopped by the river to go to the bathroom and fell in. But yeah, it's everything that I've seen. Of course, I wasn't there. I don't know, and there could be stuff that law enforcement hasn't released. But everything that I've seen, I think it was just in my opinion. Of course, everybody, absolutely. Once again, everybody's opinion is respected and everything here, but I think it was just tragic, perfect storm of events of being intoxicated, wondering, he wasn't from there, from Nashville, wandering around in the dark, intoxicated, maybe didn't know where he was going, and water, and that's just my opinion, though. There could be something that comes out later with the talk screen or some other evidence that does point to foul play that could change my mind, or like I said, not change my mind, but because I'm not going to make up my mind 100% until all information comes out. But I kind of lean right now, from what I've heard, to a horrible accident. Absolutely. I'm assuming you're talking about information or developments in Timmy's case. It says it's coming. I will let you know. Absolutely, Miss Barbara. Ooh, and there goes another big batch of comments. Um, absolutely. Justice for Timmy. Yep. Chris says that he thinks Raleigh's case is crazy because it's a criminal offense. Yep. See, but it also, because they're wanting to, and I'm absolutely not taking it for Luke Bryan's bar, but from everything that has been reported from credible news sources, that was not the first bar that they had stopped at that night. They had stopped at maybe, I know they stopped at Miranda Lambert's bar, Kid Rock's bar, maybe a couple of other bars. They could have maybe even done some drinking before they even went out. So, you know, we don't know really how intoxicated he might have already been when he got to Luke Bryan's bar. So, but I agree. I agree with the if somebody comes into a bar knowing that somebody's already intoxicated and they still serve them and something happens to them, I absolutely think that at the very least the bar should be fined and maybe you know held responsible in some way, knowingly serving a person that you can most definitely tell is very intoxicated. But that's just my opinion. Dandy says you're not getting no free tow in Colorado. AARP. I don't know what MFHTV. Probably something I couldn't say out loud anyway. Yeah, Miranda was wanting to know or asking Chris or anybody, do you think his drink was spiked or what part was criminal? I mean, it's possible his drink could have been spiked. I think Chris, I don't want to speak for Chris, but I think maybe he might be referring to the over serving or serving of somebody by the bar that was possibly already very intoxicated. Miss Barb says she thinks the drink did get spiked. Like I said, it's possible. We don't know. Like we said, whoever mentioned the toxicology report, that will tell a whole lot, hopefully. See, I don't know that much about like what is it, the GHB or whatever is the whatever they use to sorry, have stuff had stuff under my feet down there. Um Whatever they put in drinks to spike them. I don't know how long they stay in the system, and I think with some of them, and I don't quote me on this, I think that some of them they might not show up on just a standard toxicology test. You might have to do a test specifically for that GHB or whatever. Um, it some doesn't show up in just a standard toxicology. So Dandy says no free tows in Colorado. AARP covers most any roadside emergency. Oh, really? So so you could call AARP if you're intoxicated, and they would find you a ride home or pay for you a ride home. That's anything is possible. Chris says he thinks either a drink was spiked or someone deliberately pushed him into the river. I said anything is possible. Absolutely. It's always good to have a DD, designated driver. Miss Peggy said that she played designated driver many times when friends would want to go out drinking on holidays or birthday parties. Had friends I helped that way turn on you. Oh my goodness, why would they turn on you? That's rude of them. Yeah, whenever course, when we were teenagers, before we were legal drinking age, we would just usually end up at one of the, we had our little group of friends. We would all go to whichever house we were going to spend that night in and do our drinking and partying. And there was always usually a parent there, and they would collect all the keys, and everybody would spend the night there. And then when we got to drinking age, when we got to bars and such and clubs, we would always have a designated driver. So we were always careful. See, that's the way I am now. Miranda said her daughter's 20. She doesn't drink. Good for her. And it says the crowds at those bars would overwhelm her. See, in when I was my younger, wilder days, nothing fazed me. Big crowds didn't faze me. I could go out to bars, clubs, concerts. The older I get, though, my anxiety apparently has gone through the roof, and I don't like, I love going to concerts, but then again, just think of being in that crowd, and then just the thought of being in a bar or a club crowded up with people, I would have a hard time doing it now, without having to take one of my chill pills, as I call them, which are prescription. They're legal. Dandy says that she does believe a spike drink was involved. Absolutely possible. Miss Barb says that she knows somebody that knew him and said he wasn't a big drinker. Yeah, because I think at least at Luke's bar, he only had, one drink and a water. But yes, absolutely. I think that fall and the hit to the head, to me, I think that had a lot to do with it too. Because if he, and we don't know how much he had drank, but if he had had alcohol in the system, and then between the alcohol and the possible alcohol and the hit on the head, that's just, one problem stacking on top of another that could lead to a tragedy. You are absolutely right. Miss Marion says, my opinion, I don't understand when these kids are drinking and they're not taking care of each other so nobody gets hurt. Yes. See, that's another thing we did when we were of drinking age and going out to the clubs. We used, there was usually, anywhere from 2 to 4 to 10 people, and we would always at least use the buddy system, always at least have 2 people together to look out for each other, and then we would usually always, the guys would keep an eye on the girls, because we had a mixture of guys and girls. So the guys would, keep an eye on the girls. And then us girls would keep an eye on the guys too. So, but yeah, you absolutely have to look out for each other, most definitely. Marion says she does believe his drink was spiked. Yes, he could most definitely have sustained significant injuries to his head. Yes, because just watching, I cringe, and I've watched it I don't know how many times, that video of when he's like running and stumbles and falls, and I just cringe every time I see that. And just imagine your head banging against that concrete, because it was like the concrete base of like a street light or something. Just makes me cringe. Absolutely. Miranda says in her state, if a bar overserves, they can lose their liquor license. Absolutely. Yes. I agree. Miss Peggy says some drunks get pretty nasty if they refuse service. Absolutely. But bartenders have to refuse. Yes. Hopefully have some kind of security to escort them out. Yeah, usually most bars and clubs have at least one bouncer. Or do they still call them bouncers, or do they call them something else? Back in my day, they called them bouncers. They had somebody at least at the door, security at the door. And usually around here, the security they had at the clubs and bars were usually off-duty law enforcement. Absolutely, I can never put that up too much. Justice for Timmy D's. Miranda was inquiring about, she thought there was no head injury according to his autopsy. I think the head injury, and I don't know about the autopsy. I haven't seen any autopsy results. But I mean, it did look like, and he might not have hit his head, but I think it looks like the angle, it looks like he does hit his head, but then again, the angle is coming, you're looking from like what he ran into would be here, and he hit it from this way, and the camera's looking this way, so you really can't tell. But yeah, I think according to the family's autopsy, maybe they did not find water in the lungs, so they called it what they call the dry drowning. So has the official, I don't, once again, I'm behind, has the official autopsy come out? Or is this just the water, no water in the lungs and the no pants? Was that the family's autopsy result with their private autopsy? Once again, I'm confused. Too much stuff going on. Yes, I agree. Miss Marion says, in her opinion, they should investigate the other bars, and then they will find out how many drinks he did have. Yes, because talking about going back to cameras being everywhere, that there are cameras in all of those bars. Because I have been to Nashville and been on Broadway, as they call it, where all the bars are. I haven't been into the bars that he was in, but we went into some bars. And there are cameras everywhere, inside the bars, out on the streets. So they could most definitely look at the cameras in the bars that they know that Raleigh and the group went to, and maybe see how many drinks he did have. Absolutely. Okay, I'm assuming Dandy's talking about Raleigh. She says we haven't heard a miffing thing from or about who he was out with in this day and age is unheard of. Yep, absolutely. That's what we did too, Miss Marion. Miss Marion says when she was young and drank, I always tried to take care of my friends that were more drunk than me. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Like I said, when we would go out, we would always have a designated driver, and we usually had at least one person, most definitely, that didn't drink, that was a designated driver. And a lot of times there were another person wouldn't drink, just so there were at least two, depending on how big of a group we had together. There were at least two sober people to wrangle the drunk people. Yeah, Dandy said it's kind of like Kylie Rodney, party of 300 and no posted pics. Yep. Sounds like me. Miss Barbara said she liked to go dancing with her friends when she was younger, but I hardly ever leave my house now. That's the way I am. I leave the house to work and to go grocery shopping or whatever errands need to be ran. Uh, Other than that, I like to stay in the house and away from people. Stay in the house with my kitty cats. But now, back in my younger days, I tried to dance. I was never a good dancer. I tried to dance. I'm gonna get caught up in comments. I think we got maybe one more story. I think I had something on Scott Peterson. How it's about 2 hours in. Welcome, welcome, QR PBS Music Crime Time. Good to have you here, as always. I know I see you, I believe, on Discord. Good to have you here. Oh, another batch of comments just put up. I hate to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm just gonna call you Q. Says they had a friend who hit his head on a rock and drowned. It's not nice. Cannot imagine. Cannot imagine. Yeah. Alcohol, rocks, water do not mix. And I'm not saying your friend, I don't know if it's alcohol related, but definitely rocks and water do not mix. Do not mix. Very easily slip and fall and hit your head. That is true, Dandy. Dandy says he was wearing a skinny jeans with a belt that didn't get stripped off in the current. Wet clothes aren't easily shed. That is true. And see, that's another thing that kind of, like I said earlier, I haven't made up my mind one way or another. I'm kind of leaning towards accident, but then again, like you said, it is very, very, very hard to get wet clothes off because even just when I was working yesterday, the last delivery I did, I tried to get it in before the storm monsoon got there. Unfortunately, I didn't. So by the time I got out to the car, loaded the groceries up, found the house, delivered them to the door, got back in the car and got home, I was just drenched from rain, and it was, I mean, I had to peel the clothes off. So it is very hard. Just even getting wet in the rain, and I can imagine, it's going to be even more wet if you're in a river. So yeah, I agree, Dandy. Very good point. Yes, that's another good point. Miss Barbara says she couldn't believe people were watching him and did not check on him. Yes, like in the very right hand picture, and we've seen the video of him stumbling around, and people are just walking by him and just looking at him and going. I mean, I get it. It's Nashville. It's Broadway. People are probably used to seeing drunk people stumbling around, but to me, that the way he was stumbling around was more than the usual stumbling around drunk. So, if it would have been me, but it's just me, I would have at least stopped and asked him if it was okay, if he needed help, if he needed to call somebody. But, that's just me. Get caught up. I agree with you. Dandy was saying anything isn't easily maneuverable. Just saying, yeah, I got you. We're here. I understand what you're saying. Uh, yeah, Miss Peggy also says, odd how he lost his pants. Doesn't sound right for just falling in and dry drowning. Are you asking what dry drowning is? I don't really know. Just from what I've read, is something about, and I don't know if you're asking about what dry drowning is, but something about when you fall in water, or if you accidentally get even just a little bit of water that goes down like I say, goes down the wrong way, goes down your windpipe, it'll make the muscles or your throat seize up, and it could pop, and that's what they call dry drowning. I know that's probably a very, very poor explanation of that, but I mean, I've heard of it. But you're right, Miss Marion. Miss Marion says it's all about the money when it comes to the bars. It's all about the money. They really don't care about how drunk you get or if you could hurt somebody or yourself. Your opinion. I agree with you. I agree, Miss. I agree. In my opinion, the only reason they would be worried about or take any kind of precautions of trying to do something would be just to, as I say, CYA, cover your there so they don't get sued. Yeah, I've been hearing about the Lady Bird Lake thing. Then it says look up the Lady Bird Lake past unalivings. There's an unannounced ring SK in the area. I'm gonna have to look some more into that. I know back when it first, a few months ago, back when it first came out, a lot of creators were doing. I think Mr. Steve maybe even did a show on it, but I haven't heard anything about it recently. I'm gonna have to look into it some more. Absolutely, Miss Marion says justice for all. Yes, ma'am. Miss Marion's got got her red flags again. Love Miss Marion and the red flags. Yep, Q says, yep, definitely red flags. Yep, Miss Peggy says she's watched several things about the Lady Bird Lake. Watched one this afternoon. Another very strange thing going on. Yes. Thank you very much. Yes, everybody, please remember to hit the like button. What I say, leave your DNA on the like button. What was that? What was that case, Chris? 93. The case of the 93-year-old lady. That's true. Nan says he could have pulled down his pants too. It's hard to know. Yeah, that's true. It is. That's the frustrating thing. Unfortunately, we weren't there. We didn't. We don't know. We didn't see what happened. Unfortunately, I like that. Dandy says it's a Ghostbuster fight to get wet clothes off. Yes, especially how can I put this? Um, wet ladies' undergarments. Most definitely. Uh, yep, absolutely. Q says wet clothes get stuck to you. Yep. Hey, Chris is going to share something in my true crime group. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ah, Q. Yep, I know what a Kiwi is, a New Zealander. So Q is a New Zealander. Well, welcome, New Zealander. Welcome, Kiwi. Can I call you Kiwi? I'll call you Q. Q or Kiwi, whatever you want to be called. Uh, I'm just always so humbled and just so surprised when I have people from other, not from much less, the United States, other states, or from around the world that tune in. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for being here. And I know we have Meg. I haven't seen Meg from Australia pop in lately. I did see Miss Charlotte from across the pond. I believe maybe, oh, whose live was it? Maybe Mr. Steve's live that he had, members only. Miss Charlotte popped in. And Fritzy Garage from Poland. I think they're on Replay Crew because they usually leave a comment after I post something or do a live. So yeah, I got Poland, uh, New Zealand, the UK, Australia. So very humbling. Canada, I believe. I can I can relate. Dan, I'm apologize. Dandy says it's so hot in Western Colorado that when I got up, I left my thighs on the chair. Yes, it's about that way here in Arkansas too. And God forbid if you have a vehicle that has leather seats during the summertime, don't do it or put something over it. Thank goodness the car I drive right now it has cloth seats. It does not have leather seats. Okay, gotcha, Miss Peggy. Miss Peggy says she has heard of dry drowning, but she doesn't believe that's what happened to Riley. Gotcha. Q says this boy needs justice. I don't know if you're talking about Raleigh or somebody else, but yes, anybody, yeah, all victims of any crime need justice. Absolutely. Miss Marion says, but I wanted to know, didn't they say that he talked to the police and they just let him go stumbling around? Yes, and body they did, once again I think it's Chris from Mob Crew, and probably some other creators, but I watch Chris a lot too. Had some body cam footage of, apparently there was a law enforcement officer walking around because apparently there have been some break-ins, people breaking into cars that night or whenever, because it showed him walking up to, I believe it was a truck with a broken window, and when he was looking at there, you heard somebody running up, and it was Riley running up, and you just barely see him, and I think the closer he was running and the closer he got, he realized it was a police officer. He slowed down to a walk, and he just kind of, they passed each other and both kind of said, hey, how you doing? And then Riley walked off. And the weird thing is, Chris mentioned that in just a very short amount of time, that the police officer walked down a little bit, turned around, and when the police officer turned around, facing the direction where Riley should have been walking, he wasn't there. So it's possible he could have either went to the other side of the street or veered off onto, I think, the side where the river was. But that is as far as I know, that is the only interaction with police. Now there could be more that I just haven't heard about. Oh yeah, on Q, I think the last story we have, Chris was asking Q what the thoughts are on Scott Peterson case, and Q said, I think he did do it. Chris said, well, let me get it. Come here. Chris says he thinks he's debating if he's guilty. And absolutely, yes, Justice Raleigh. Yep, absolutely. If there was foul play. Oh, Dandy's talking about her dreadlocks. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. That's what I'm here for. Yes, absolutely. Dandy says we love everyone. Yes, we absolutely love everyone. We respect everyone's opinions. No matter, we may not always have the same opinions or, on certain things, but we're adults. We discuss them like adults. We respect everybody's opinions, and we don't have any problems here. Thank goodness. Now, as soon as I say that, hopefully, I've never had any trouble. Never had any trouble so far with any trolls or any troublemakers. But if we do, we got some good mods here with the wrenches. They can play whack-a-troll, as I call it. Yeah, Miss Peggy says she never leaves home unless she has to. Q says they're like a hermit, stay at home. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's like that. I hate going out unless I have to. Like I said, unless I have to go out for work or to run errands. Yeah, I agree. Q says, why didn't that police make sure he was okay? You're like, really okay. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I know, or from what I understand, he was investigating this break-in, and maybe, I mean, I know in my younger, wilder days when I was highly intoxicated, if I came across in contact with the law enforcement or somebody that, an adult or somebody, I could do a pretty good job of acting like I was sober. So that may have been the case with Riley. He, at least for a second or two, put on the facade that, he was okay and the policeman didn't think anything about it. But I mean, you never know. You never know. But it is very sad because that might have been the last person or law enforcement that ever saw him alive. But yes, I agree. It is a very confusing case. Absolutely, I hope so. Miss Marion says she believes this is a year for a lot of families to get justice. And Miss Barbara says she believes Scott Peterson is guilty. Miss Marion says, in her opinion, Scott Peterson is guilty. I watched the trial. It was so sad, that poor family. Yeah, in my opinion, I didn't watch the trial, but just I've read a lot about it. All right, speaking of, so I finally got caught up in comments. I believe that is the last article I have, and then we'll get out of here. It's a little bit over 2 hours. It's not bad. Oh, let me find the article. We're gonna see where Scott Peterson is now. Well, he's in prison, but see what kind of conditions he is in. See if I can share my screen. Now, I don't know if I read the whole thing, because I think a lot of this article does go into what we already know about what happened, but we'll read the first part is about the LA Innocence Project, and this comes from People magazine, people.com. And then the last part of it is what he's been doing in prison, or what it's been like for him in prison. And this is from May 30th of this year. It says, where is Scott Peterson now? Inside his life in prison amid LA Innocence Project case. And there's a picture of him. It says, the story shocked the world. In 2002, Lacey Peterson, 8 months pregnant, was found brutally unalived, and her husband, Scott Peterson, was the primary suspect. In 2004, Scott was convicted of taking the life of his wife and unborn son, and he was sentenced to the DP. In the years since, he has maintained his innocence. Scott's DP sentence was overturned in 2020, though he has remained convicted of the crimes, and he has long sought a retrial. According to Lacey's mother, Sharon Rocha, she says, that's the last person you want to think had anything to do with the disappearance of your daughter is her husband. And she said this in the 2017 ABC special, Truth and Lies, the homicide of Lacey Peterson. She goes on to say, the person that was a member of your family, somebody that you loved and cared about, and thought he felt the same way about your daughter, and knowing how she felt about him. In 2022, Scott was denied a new trial. Sorry, I was going to, hold on. Change the layout. There we go. He was denied a new trial. Everyone was so worried that they were going to have to go through the pain of a trial again, and no one wanted to deal with that, a friend of Lacey's family told People. Most recently, Scott's case was picked up by the Los Angeles Innocence Project, not the National whatever Innocence Project, which is a nonprofit organization known for the work to exonerate wrongfully convicted and incarcerated individuals. In January of 2024, the organization told People in a statement that they now represent Scott and are, quote, investigating his claim of actual innocence. 2 months later, Scott appeared in court via live stream video from the Mule Creek State Prison in Ione, California, where lawyers through the organization presented what they claimed was new evidence in the case. Under the nonprofit's direction, Scott's case reached a breakthrough in May of this year, when a judge ruled that one piece of evidence from the initial investigation, I think it was one out of maybe 20 pieces of evidence, one piece of evidence, a piece of duct tape found on Lacey's pants, could undergo DNA testing. In Scott's November 2023 letter to the court, he wrote that he sought a retrial because, quote, critical exculpatory evidence was ignored, overlooked, or never investigated at all. And in another instance was suppressed at the time of my trial. Here's everything to know about Scott Peterson's crime. So we know, I'm assuming we all know. And I did put a link to all these articles in the description. So if you want to go and read any of these whole articles, you can. But just for time purposes, we're going to skip over. I'm assuming we know the what happened. I'm trying to get down to what his life is like now in prison. Okay, so he's been in prison now for nearly 20 years, 2 decades. This says, according to San Quentin State Prison spokesperson Vernell Crittenden, Scott quickly adjusted to life in prison, charming the female guards, surprise, surprise, and spreading the word of his new nickname, Scotty Too Hottie, which was given to him by a woman who wrote him a letter of support. Crittenden told people that when Scott first arrived, he received as many as 85 letters a week and frequent visits from his parents, friends, and a female member of his former defense team. So according to Crittenden, he says he is a sociopath. As long as he's getting all of this attention, he's going to be rather happy. Scott's keeping his spirits pretty high. A Peterson family friend told People in 2005 he has the attitude that he didn't do anything wrong, and he's waiting for the day when he can come out and do his ha-ha dance and tell the world, see, I didn't do it. While working on her 2012 book, Life After Homicide, 5 Men in Search of Redemption, investigative journalist Nancy Mullane observed Scott in prison. She said, or she told People, he didn't look depressed. He looked like someone you'd see on the street playing basketball. He had his shirt off and his boxer shorts up. He wasn't ripped, but he looked healthy. In 2020, the AP reported that Scott's name was on the list of at least 31,000 inmates to whom California paid unemployment. What? Make sure I'm reading this right. In 2020, the Associated Press reported that Scott's name was on a list of at least 31,000 inmates to whom California paid unemployment benefits during the COVID-19 pandemic. So somebody in prison, please tell me if I'm reading this right, understanding this right. The state of California was paying people in prison who weren't working unemployment benefits during the Rona. Why? Anyway, Scott's attorney maintained that his client did not request or receive money from the state. In October of 2022, a woman named Brandy was arrested and charged with using Scott's and other prisoners' names and social security numbers to collect more than $145,000, according to AP. 5 minutes earlier, the Los Angeles Times reported that 13 people were charged in connection with the same scheme. So he has continued his fight. He has maintained his innocence and continues to fight his conviction. His attorneys have claimed that he did not have a fair trial, blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to, so his DP was overturned in 2020. In 2021, they said they would not retry the penalty phase. They did overturn his death, the DP to life without parole. His request for a new trial was denied in 2022. And so in 2024 is when the LA Innocence Project got January 19th, LA Innocence Project announced they were investigating Scott's case and said new evidence supports the claim that he did not take the life of Lacey and their unborn son. New evidence now supports Mr. Peterson's longstanding claim of innocence and raises many questions into who abducted and took the lives of Lacey and Connor Peterson. The evidence includes updated witness statements that point to multiple areas of interest, particularly this alleged 2002 burglary of a home across the street from the Petersons' residence. And I believe something about a van that was stolen and had a burned mattress in the back of it. Scott's attorneys have argued that Lacey's life was taken after witnessing men breaking into her neighbor's home. The organization also hopes to conduct new DNA tests on a bloodstained mattress found on December 25th of 2002 nearby, which could link Lacey back to the burglars. Scott's defense attorney, Pat Harris, told People of the News, "We are very excited to have the incredible attorneys of the LA Innocence Project lend their considerable expertise to helping prove Scott Peterson's innocence." During a May 29th, 2024 hearing, Scott's lawyers from the LA Innocence Project argued that many important pieces of evidence, including a van that was set on fire in Modesto the day after Lacey vanished, a plastic bag, and a tarp, were never tested for DNA. A KRON4 reported that Scott's lawyers have evidence showing that a mattress with what appears to be bloodstains and was found inside the van wasn't there before Lacey's life was taken. But during the hearing, the judge ruled that only one piece of evidence could be tested, the piece of duct tape found on Lacey's pants. Although the other requests for testing were denied, his lawyers maintained, per Brian Enton of News Nation, that, quote, "there's absolutely no forensic evidence implicating Peterson." So that is the latest on Scott Peterson. So, get caught up in comments right quick, and we'll get out of here. I'm going to turn off my cam for a minute while I'm going through y'all's comments. Get back to where I was at. Let me put what am I doing? Put that back up there. Okay. Miss Marion said he didn't even want to help in the search. Where his wife and his child, something's up with that, in my opinion. Yep, I agree. Hey, Patriotism USA, good to have you here. Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Yes, absolutely. She was pregnant with little Connor. Oh, goodness. I don't know if I can read that. I'm not going to read that out loud. Dandy's talking about what someplace sells. Oh, goodness. Oh, I don't know if they're probably gone by now. But thank you, Q, for being here. See you all. Take care. Patriotism says, I have a case for you, sending it to Chris. Excellent. That's all right. You're fine. You can always watch what you missed on a replay crew. We talked about, who do we talk about? Chad Daybell, Rex Heuermann, Caleb Harris, Raleigh Strain, and then Scott Peterson. We're anxiously waiting Thursday for the news on what Rex Heuermann is going to be charged with. Dandy says, how was his case picked up by them? Are you talking about Scott Peterson and the LA Innocence Project? I'm telling you, the National Innocence Project and maybe even the LA Innocence Project, they can do good because, yes, there are, in my opinion, there are innocent people that are in prison. But then again, there are guilty people who are never sent to prison. His case, and I would think that Scott Peterson's case being such a high profile case, that's why the LA Innocence Project picked up on it. That's just my opinion, though, my theory. That could be it too. Miss Marion says, my opinion, did Scott Peterson run out of money for the Innocence Project to pick it up? I thought it was for people that didn't have any money. I'm just asking. I don't know if it's for people who don't have money. I'll have to look into that because I know in the West Memphis 3 case, I think I'm trying to think if it was the National Innocence Project that picked up their case. They definitely didn't have any money. Well, I'm sure Damien has money now, but I'll have to look into that, Miss Marion. That's a good question. I don't know. I wish I had that answer. Yeah, I don't understand it either, Miss Peggy. She says don't get why is the Innocence Project involved. I know it's not national, but still, yeah, I don't know. It is possible that, they could be very sincere in their intentions, but then again, it could be because they usually pick up the high profile cases. It could be they're just trying to make a name for themselves. I don't know. That's a good question. And Miss Marion, did you say you committed a crime and you didn't get your check? Oh goodness. We won't tell Miss Marion. Oh, she says she never. Sorry, I never committed a crime and I didn't get my check. Oh, good night, Black Knight 007. Thanks for joining us. Absolutely. Good to have you here. I'm so behind, they might already be going. I don't know why my screen is going crazy. Oh, Dandy may be out too. You'll have to. Patriotism says it's the missing Georgia case. You'll have to. You'll have to elaborate. Because my missing person Monday from yesterday, I did 10 missing. They were cold cases. Some of them from the 2000s. 10 missing cases from Georgia. Where do you send it? You're on my Discord, aren't you? You can send it to my Discord. You can put it in the cold case channel or the general channel. I'm on Facebook. Hold on. I have a Facebook group. You can put it in there. If you do Facebook, I don't know if you do Facebook, but I think you're on my Discord, so you can post it anywhere in my Discord and put it under probably the cold case channel. Oh, Miss Marion's got to go. Miss Marion said, good night, everyone. Thank you for being here. We appreciate all the support that you give to all of our families and putting our stories out there and doing all the hard work. We thank you. Thank you, Miss Marion. We love you too. We love the families. Absolutely. The community. It takes all of us. Thank you for being here as always, Miss Marion. Yes, absolutely. Miss Peggy says there are so many other people, other innocent people they could be helping. You're right, ma'am. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's all I have. All right, guys. I think I am caught up in comments. I'm gonna do just a tad bit of a shameless plugging, and then we'll get out of here. So if anybody has any last questions, comments, goodbyes, um, do that. Thanks everybody for watching. If you're new here or you haven't already, please consider subscribing. Hit the notification bell so you get notified of when I upload videos or go live. Please share. The most important thing you can do. If you don't share anything else, please share the missing persons videos and live streams and the cold cases. That's the most important thing here on my channel that I strive to get the information out for. Um, so please give them a watch, a like, a share, a comment, anything you can do to help them get out there to as many people as possible. Once again, you can find me on Facebook. I have a group and a page. The group is more active. I post all the important stuff in there. On the page, I post some articles and stuff, but all the missing persons and cold cases that I work on, or not work on, but share and work up to do videos or live streams, I post in the group. If you have any questions, comments, or you have a cold case or missing person you would like me to share, email me, southerngals@hotmail.com. If you would like to help support the channel and awareness for the missing, I think I did put the links in the description box of the video. You can also find them on the description of the channel. I think that's all my shameless plugging. So we'll get to last comments. Thank you, Miss Barbara. Always a pleasure having Miss Barb here. Much love always. It says, good night, love you. Thank you so much for your hard work. Love chat. Stay safe out there. Absolutely, Miss Barb. You stay safe too. Absolutely, Miss Peggy says, I think every state has many missing people. I think every state has at least one SKI. You're right. You're right. And, oh, Miss Marion says, absolutely. You're most welcome, Miss Marion. Much love as always. Miss Peggy, not all. Stay safe and take care. You too, Miss Peggy. Absolutely. All right, guys. Like I said, I will have probably a video premiere. You guys said you like video premieres. I like them too. I'll get it uploaded. Probably premiere it around 8 tomorrow night, because I'll probably work till who knows when, 6 at least. Thursday, I'll try to do the members live or members only live stream. Then Friday, I'll have a case of the week video uploaded as a video premiere. So until then, once again, thanks for watching. Everybody that was here in chat, everybody watching on replay. Trying to multitask. Until next time, everybody, stay safe. Be careful out there. Take care of your fellow human beings. That's the most important thing we can do. I love you guys, and I'll see you next time.